supporters, and it's all about embracing healthy living. She started her journey into healthy eating to heal a chronic illness and has since created the Deliciously Ella site, written a cookbook, and created an app. Ella's blog gets more than 6 million hits a month, and so something for us all to strive for. And her book has been the fastest-selling debut cookbook since records began. She's been featured in publications ranging from Vogue to Grazia to Top Sante to Evening Standard and more. Her cookbook, Deliciously Ella, which you can find on the Doc bookstand downstairs in the hub, features more than 100 sugar-free, gluten-free, and dairy-free recipes. It will inspire you to eat for better health, glowing skin, and boundless energy. From sumptuous desserts to food on the go, delicious dips, raw treats, the list goes on and on. So Ella's philosophy is all about showing that healthy living is fun and enjoyable. It's not about deprivation or starvation, but finding ways to make you healthy and happy. And she's going to tell us all about her journey, as they say in America. Please give a big BritMums warm welcome to Ella Woodward.
Really happy to be here today. This is amazing. I've never been to a blogging conference before, so it's really, really cool to see so many people come together. So I wanted to start today to talk a little bit about my story and how I got into blogging in the first place, and then just a bit about blogging and some of the things I've learned, which I think have helped the blog and the social media grow to what it has somehow become. So I started now 3 years ago, my blog, and 4 years ago, almost exactly, I was diagnosed with an illness which is so bizarre and so random called postural tachycardia syndrome. So I literally woke up one morning and had been fine. I was a university student, totally healthy, and I woke up and I looked like I was pregnant, actually pregnant. I couldn't do up any of my clothes, and I felt so unwell, and so that was kind of day one, and my mum and I were not really worried, so we thought, oh, it's fine, it's just like weird allergic reaction to something. And then the next day it was the same, and it just felt almost hungover really, just, so groggy, headachy, fluey, and it was really, really painful, very swollen stomach. And after about a week of ignoring it, we went to the doctor, and he immediately was like, why did you wait so long? And then that started off about 4 months in and out of every hospital in London, having every test. At this point, I was pretty much bedbound, I had no energy, I slept pretty much all day, every day. I couldn't control my heart rate, my digestion, my circulation, my immune system, pretty much anything you could think of. And after the 4 months, I got a diagnosis, and I was so excited because, first of all, a lot of people have been saying, we can't find what it is, it might be psychological, and that's absolutely not dismissal of psychological illnesses because they're just as real, except that I knew that this one was physical. So I got a name, I got a diagnosis, and I got drugs, and I was so happy. And I just kind of figured that, as with so many things, you go to the doctor, they give you pills, and you get better. And so I started on this cocktail of all kinds of drugs and steroids and things, and after about a month, I realized nothing had really changed. I still spent 90% of my time in bed, I was still in pain, I was still really miserable. And I did this for about 6 months, and I completely shut myself away from the world. I didn't really talk to no one, I didn't tell anyone what had happened. And then my then boyfriend and I wanted to take a trip to Marrakesh, which we planned the year before any of this had happened. Obviously, him being much more sensible than me, he kept saying, oh, no, we're not going. I somehow convinced him that we would go. And he brought me back, semi-conscious, in a wheelchair to a trip, which was obviously a low point, but it was the best thing that could have happened because it was the first time that I kind of realised what was happening and realised quite how bad my life had got. And so I just started on Google, and I was Googling natural healing, alternative healing, all this kind of stuff, just trying to find anything that was kind of something that wasn't drugs that I could get control of. And I came across this woman, and if there's anyone who's struggling with any kinds of health issues, she's amazing, she's so inspiring. She's called Chris Hart. She writes a great blog. And she's American, and she was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer when she was 31, and whatever type of cancer it it wasn't going to respond to keynote or radio, and it wasn't operable. So she went on this huge adventure to change her life. And I was so inspired by her story and by her book, which I really, really recommend to everyone. It's amazing. And yeah, so I thought, okay, I'm going to do the same. I'm going to change my life. I'm going to become a vegetarian. I'm going to cut out dairy. I'm going to cut out gluten. I'm going to cut out sugar. And this whole thing. And I told my family, and they all just laughed so much. And hated fruit, hated vegetables. I didn't really get the concept of healthy food. I was a pick and mix addict. So it's a little different to how it is now. And anyway, so I started doing it, and for the first 3 months, I pretty much ate the same thing every day. I hated it. I thought healthy eating felt like a diet. It was boring. It didn't teach you anything. And then after that time, I realized that, you know what, I wasn't really trying very hard. I needed to find a way to make it fun. And that's when I started my blog. And I just said, you know, I'm going to just blog about the recipes that I do so that, you know, I'm sure you guys kind of felt the same. It's really nice to just put your ideas somewhere and share it, and, you know, you have a passion for something. And so that's what I started doing. And in the first 6 months, it was just honestly like my mum and I reading it. I didn't really ever expect anyone to read it or necessarily know if I wanted anyone to. I don't know if it's something that you guys have experienced, but it's pretty scary putting yourself out there so much. I think you feel quite vulnerable as to what maybe your friends and family, more than strangers, like your friends and family and people that you know are going to think of your writing, of the way you talk, with the photos you share, whether you show photos of yourself and things like that. And so I was so scared to show anyone. So I didn't actually show anyone that wasn't my mum for the first 3 months. And then gradually it just started spreading. In the first 6 months after that, I had about 100,000 hits. It was small. And then in the second 6 months, I had 900,000. And that's when I thought, okay, you know, it's not just my mom reading this, obviously, anymore. And, you know, I realised that there was a platform and a space there to develop it into something else. So that's when I got social media, and that's when I kind of said, okay, I'm going to really turn this into a career and see what I can do with this, because there's obviously a space here. And so that was now this time 2 years ago, and so it's in that time that I've turned the blog and the social media and everything into what it is now. And there are some things that I've learned which I think have been really, really helpful in order to get it to where it is that I wanted to share. And so I think the first thing, and it's been just the most important thing, and anytime I do anything, anytime a brand wants to work together, or someone wants you to do this event or this talk or this is what I always come back to, is whether or not it really feels like authentically you. And I know that sounds really cheesy. But I think, you know, I'm sure lots of you come across this, but when you start writing and you start doing this, it's really easy to kind of want to do something that you think is going to capitalize on what's popular. You know, when I first started doing this, kale was the least cool thing ever. You know, now Beyonce wears a jumper that says kale. That just wasn't the case then. And it's really tempting to write about something and share something that you think everyone's going to like, rather than what you really, really like. And I think actually staying authentic is the most powerful thing, because actually if your audience genuinely love what you're talking about and it really sounds like you, that's a lot more effective than you talking to a huge audience that kind of see through it. And then I think the other thing is, it's so intimidating. I find this all the time. There are so many people doing similar things to you, whatever it is that you write about. There are hundreds, if not thousands, and hundreds of thousands of other people out there all over the world writing about similar things. And how do you make what you do different? And how do you stand out? How do you grow? How do you be bigger than theirs? And I think actually being you is the best way that you can ever do that, because no one else can do that. You know, if you write exactly how you speak, if you share exactly what's really important to you and what is part of your life, then it is naturally different. It becomes a different take on something. And I think people can then start to relate to you and feel that you're a person, that they understand you, rather than it always, you know, you just being a voice among so many. And then the other thing which I vowed I would do right at the beginning, and there are days where I do really, really regret it, but engaging with everyone. When I first started, I had so many questions and I emailed so many people and no one responded. And I was so upset. And so I said, you know what, I'm going to respond to everyone. And obviously I do miss stuff, you know, of course I do, and I do now have people that help me, but I really try to get a response to every tweet, you know, comment, email, And it's the most amazing thing. A, because it really does create a relationship with your readers, and of course they really appreciate it, and so that's amazing because you create a loyalty in a community. But more importantly, almost for you, it's the most helpful thing. It's very time consuming, and it's weird to kind of justify spending 3 hours a day on Instagram as part of your job. But knowing what people want is the best thing ever. Like, my blog has 100% been tailored over the last few years in response to everyone's comments and questions, because the same things always come up, and you really can engage with that and use that to tailor what you want to talk about and make sure you're really, engaging with your audience and sharing things with them that they really want to learn. And it's easy to be dismissive of it almost and be like, oh, I don't know if I'm interested in that. But actually, when you start to see that so many other people are, and then you start looking into it, you realize that maybe you are, and it's a great way to make sure that you are giving your readers what they want to see. And then the other two things was A, to be consistent, which sounds so boring. And I had to be so strict with myself where I had like little reminders in my calendars. But I think making sure that you share stuff at the same time every week, and that it's consistent both tonally, so the way you talk, the way you speak, and then visually, the way the pictures, the kind of style that you're going for, and then just the timing and making sure that it's everyone knows that on Wednesday morning or whatever it is, they'll come and they'll be able to see something new, and I think that's really great for growing your audience. So those are the things that I've learned most along the way that I think have been the most helpful to the blog growing to what it is. And now I think we're going to do some questions.
Yes. Hi. So, is this on? Yes. We're running a little bit behind time. We had some questions submitted beforehand. I'm going to quickly go through a couple of those with Ella. But don't forget, you can pop down to the book stand where Ella will be signing her book and chat with her there. Going on to these. One of the questions a woman named Natalie asked, since January last year, I've made significant improvements to my health and lifestyle, losing 60 pounds in the process. Now I want to take that a stage further and clean up my eating. Trouble is, I do love my carbs and sugar. What would you recommend is the first step towards a cleaner diet?
First of all, that's amazing. But I think the most important thing is that you don't have to cut out anything sweet and carbs. Carbs is a confusing concept because a carrot is a carb. You just want to be focusing on things like carrots, brown rice, quinoa, sweet potatoes, normal potatoes, and you get brown rice pasta rather than white rice. So you can still eat the same kind of things you normally do. If you're making curry, use brown rice or white rice. It's such a tiny change that makes a big difference when it starts to add up. Say make porridge for breakfast rather than bought cereal. It really decreases the sugar, but then you can add things like honey to it. I think there's a big scare out there, and I'm sure lots of you will have come across people saying, oh, natural sugar, is it really bad? Should you not eat fruit? And all this, it's such a confusing topic, but actually you've got to find something that's sustainable and that's enjoyable. And I think that does include having some natural sugar. So you don't have to get rid of it altogether, but you can just use honey or maple syrup or dates or things like that to sweeten things rather than going for white sugar and marshmallows.
Great. Claire asked, what's been the biggest challenge in growing Deliciously Ella online and turning it into this big brand?
I think for me it's finding the balance between work and my personal life, because social media is weird like that. It does slightly get into your personal life in a way, and it's really hard to find the balance of what to share and what not to share and when to switch off, because Instagram doesn't stop. No social media stops, especially because you have followers everywhere in the world where the time differences are different. And I really struggle with finding a balance that feels like it works between being able to do everything that I want to do and connect with as many people as I can, but then also taking enough time for me to not totally go crazy.
But then what about in terms of going from very popular blog to branching out to some of these other elements? We've done a book, an app. I mean, did those just come naturally? Was it like, oh, we've done this one thing, let's go on to the next thing? Or
some of them have. The app was the first thing I did, and that was just, I don't know, for me, I love blogs, but sometimes I want to access the information quicker, and the app just seemed like a really easy way, if you're going home and from work and you wanted to make the recipe, it's much easier to just have it all in front of you rather than scroll through pages and pages of blog. Someone asked if I wanted to do the book, and obviously I was like, no. And it just kind of grew from So I think once one thing started, it all kind of grew. But I think having tracks and things made a huge difference to that because it just ups the level of interest.
And there was, was you reading on a conversation you were having earlier with a blogger about selfies and kind of the strange situation with selfies and how they're so important, but sometimes they can feel just a bit self-centered.
Definitely.
What are your thoughts about them?
Yeah, I've really struggled with that, and I'm sure you guys have had the same thing I said earlier about feeling nervous and being judged by your friends, family, people that know you. Feels pretty self-centered to be like, hey guys, this is my face again. And it's hard because, I find if I'm scrolling through an Instagram account or something that I really like, who is this? I want to know this person that I'm stalking. And I love their world, I love their vision, and I want to know that, I want to see their face so I know who it is. And I realized that people probably wanted that on mine too, which is why I started doing it. And I think becoming a person, being someone people can relate to is really helpful in growing a blog, a brand. But it's very hard to find that line between, A, coming across as just very self-centered, and B, just not exposing more than you want to. I don't want to every day be like, here's my face.
So no kind of Ella t-shirts, Ella bumper stickers.
No, those are never coming.
And finally, Kate asks, what's been your biggest challenge so far technically? I mean, in terms of either the actual behind the stage building of the blog or the photographs or, working with the kind of blogging side of having an online business?
I'm not really that technically minded, but I do find, I use WordPress and I do find it's a pretty easy site to navigate, so that's been great. For me, the photographs have been a huge learning curve. I was so excited because my first laptop that I had all the photos on, I spilled water all over and I lost them because I wish I could show them to people because they were so horrific. It was so ugly, and that was a really big learning thing for me, and learning how to take all the photos and make them look nice and make the food look appealing. And I think it's been something that's been really, really helpful to the blog, is having photos that people look at and they're like, yeah, I want that. But it definitely wasn't that easy.
I think there's time for one more quick question on this list. How do we guard against people possibly getting obsessive over their eating or feeling guilty? How do you go about promoting those changes as positive and healthy instead of, oh, I'm being so bad because I had a cookie?
Yeah. Well, I always say to everyone, I think, food has to be enjoyable. It's such a huge part of all of our lives, and that guilt feeling is so negative, and it really brings you down so much. So I think it is all about just finding a balance. Balance that you enjoy. Don't eat stuff you hate. And it's that thing where you're like, I have to be so virtuous. But if making a smoothie with cucumber, kale, and spinach, you hate. I don't want just that. I totally relate to that. You hate it, you're going to drink it, and you're going to be like, oh, I know this is good for you, but not enjoying it, rather than making a smoothie with blueberries, banana, honey and oats, let's say, which is, if you're going to love that, do that, but don't beat yourself up for the fact that it's not all green. I think it can be obsessive when it comes, anyway, eating can become obsessive. And it's just really important to find a balance so that you're enjoying everything you're doing, because I think once you stop enjoying it, it is going to get, I think, mentally challenging.
Well, thank you so much, Ella. That's all you have time for. Everyone, give a big warm thank you to Ella.
Right. I can't get it so that everyone's in. I can't. It's Marison. Okay, nice to meet you. It's Nadine here from Juggle Mum, and I'm about to interview Deliciously Ella. I'm going to have to move out the camera because I can't get it far enough away so that you can see what's going on.
Let's start with everyone asking one question so we kind of everybody gets a chance to say something. And then, we'll see how we get on in terms of timing. But thank you all for coming. And thank you on you.
Karen, you start.
I'll start.
Yes.
I'm Karen. Karen Joyce, nice to meet you. I have a daughter called Emma. Oh, very good. I blog at Embrace Happy.
Oh, that is awesome.
Oh, stop it.
Yeah,
Oh,
sorry, the name.
Right. Oh, stop it.
No, embrace happy. So yes, I'm kind of looking at the good things in life, and our motto is not every day is good, but there's good in every day. So what I wanted to ask you is I'm celiac, so I've had to change my diet in the last 4 years.
It's been a really recent diagnosis.
Well, yeah, it was about 4 years ago. So, but this is not a slightly odd question, perhaps a bit quirky, but ever since I was diagnosed, I haven't eaten anything that has gluten in it knowingly. Because some people, you know, they have sort of conditions that they maybe, ooh, that baguette looks really good, so maybe I'll try it.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I was just curious if, with your changes to your diet and your clean eating and everything, have you ever been tempted to kind of go back to some of your old habits, or inadvertently ended up with any dietary issues kind of through cross-contamination or anything like that? Just
I actually haven't been. I was when I first started. I was so tempted. I wanted to eat everything. I found it really, really hard because I didn't really get to grips with what I could eat in a positive sense. If that makes sense. I was just looking at a broccoli and being like,
because you weren't terribly fond of
no, I
vegetables
wasn't really
and
into fruit and vegetables before, and so I couldn't really get my head around how you make it taste good and actually want to eat it. And so the first few months, while I was figuring that out, all I wanted was anyone's Haribo and all the rest of it, and I found that really, really hard. But once I figured out basically how to cook, and so that I never was craving something because I'd make something to sate the craving, I actually really haven't. I know what you mean. I've got friends who are like, oh, I don't eat gluten, but then there's a really good pizza in front of them, and then they definitely eat gluten.
It's more of a lifestyle choice, perhaps, for some, but
exactly. And I think for me, the most important thing when it comes to anything related to food is I just want to eat natural food, and that's what I get excited about. Exactly. And so anything that I see, that I'm just like, what is that? Like, that's so processed. It just doesn't really appeal. Like, I don't know, like candy and stuff. It's just so bright. It's like too bright.
There's too many additives.
Yeah, exactly. It's too neon.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you.
My
Thank
pleasure.
You very much.
Hi, I'm Kelly. My blog's called Domestic Goddess.
Amazing.
Well, it's mostly because I fall short of the mark on a fairly regular basis. My question to you is kind of related to that. My husband is a firm believer in the concept that a meal is not a meal if it does not have meat.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of men that would agree with her.
So my question to you in sort of relation to the book in particular, and also I know you've got lots more recipes on your blog and you've got the new book coming next year or whatever it is. So my question would be, what are the sort of recipes that you would point someone towards who was trying your food not necessarily because they needed to, but because they wanted to, maybe because they realised that they want to make a change in their life and they need a starting point for it. What do you feel are maybe the kind of best crossover? Such a management team recipes.
It's a good question because I think it's the most important thing is if you or someone around you wants to make a change, it can't feel overwhelming. You know, if you go from eating lots of burgers to trying to eat kale, it's going to feel rubbish, you know, and I think I tried to do that and I felt like I was on this crazy diet and that's so unsustainable. So I think the first thing is that, and I recommend lots of people do this, is that to make any of the recipes and then add chicken, fish, you know, whatever it is to it, but so trying to just move the vegetable bit to the middle, because basically always, you know, in traditional British cooking, it's always the vegetables are like the side note, you know, they're steamed, boiled, unexciting on the side, and no one gets excited about them. And so I think the first thing is just moving it to the middle of the plate, and actually that bit being exciting, and so you still have the meat, so it's not scary, but you're actually really starting to taste and try, I don't know, beans and all that kind of stuff that you maybe don't eat so much. But then things like there's a curry in the book which is like aubergines and squash and chickpeas and things, and that's really popular.
I made that last week and I tried it on the kids and they were a bit. And then
I saw your photo
I put some leftovers, I put some chicken in it, and my son wolfed it then because it's chicken curry.
Yeah, so then it wasn't.
So when he said vegetarian curry, he's like.
And I think that's one of the good ways to get people interested.
And then you could actually then reduce the chicken.
Exactly, and lots of people have tried doing that, and that works really, really well. But even if it has chicken in it, it's still completely different than having chicken with like a tiny bit of veg on the side, because you've got so much, you know, veggie stuff in the middle. And I think it just has to look familiar. I think that's the main thing.
Okay. Katie, we will carry on our little conversation we were having about social media.
Yeah.
And I would love to know your tips for selfies and also how you manage your social media calendar. So do you have rules with yourself about times in the day that you're off it?
Yeah. I really try and come off it in the evenings. I didn't used to, but I, you know, I'd wake up at 3 in the morning and check my Instagram and stuff, which is not healthy.
But quite fun.
But quite fun. And yeah, I know. I now really try in the evening when I leave work. I really try and shut it. I also find my response is nowhere near as good in the evening anyway, because I think in the day most people are at work and they're bored. So, you know, they're much more likely to be flipping through Instagram or whatever, whereas in the evening they're kind of doing probably something more interesting than looking at my posts. So, yes, I don't really post in the evenings. Tips on selfies. Selfies are so hard. I still find it really hard.
Because you normally get someone else to take it. Don't you?
Yeah, I do.
Who is that? Like, how are they always there?
She just takes someone everywhere. She's not.
It's really
I
to take her back.
time on my own. I'm always with a friend or my mum or my sister.
Take my picture.
Or like
train them
one
all
else
up.
in the office. Yeah, exactly.
No, mum, sorry, took it again.
Yeah, useless. No, I find taking a selfie really awkward.
Excruciating.
Yeah, it is really awkward.
And then you end up pouting, looking like a duck.
It's all bad. It is hard. I find it much easier to ask your friend or whoever you're with to take the picture. But it is really hard to put yourself out there because you are putting yourself out for judgment.
Have you noticed which of your pictures get the best response?
It varies so much. I can't quite figure out what it is, actually, to be honest.
It's jumping in the air.
Jumping in the air, exactly.
You definitely can't do that by yourself.
Always
You can't
jumping
take a picture of yourself jumping by yourself.
I think that's the other thing. If you're taking a picture of yourself, it's literally just your face.
Yeah.
You know, because like you can only get your arm up to here, whereas when someone
Selfie
else
stick.
takes, yeah, it's true. It's selfie stick, you can get more. Yeah, because that's the other thing that I quite like. When someone else takes a picture, it's like, yeah, you're in it, but there's at least like
It's not
something else going
great.
around about you rather than just your face, you know, which is quite nice.
Although weirdly, a lot of people have started taking a shot like that, so it's just their body and legs and feet, which is equally weird.
A lot of fashion bloggers do that.
Yeah,
And the challenge with that is yes.
My dreams. Hi, I'm Marianne. I write at Mari's World, and I'm the BritMums editor too. Yeah, it is. My question, she nicked it. Sorry. And in as much as my husband's a huge meat eater, and he would flick through the book and go, big grunts like that. The kids probably a bit young yet. Where would the starting point be? And some of the things are quite time consuming, aren't they?
I don't find that at all. I really not more than like.
You haven't got 2 kids and a house and a dog to walk and.
Yeah, I've got my own company and I'm 45 people and I work 24/7.
Hannah, high five.
I don't have kids, but it's not like I'm twiddling my thumbs. I don't find
I didn't want to say.
I don't find it any more difficult than any other. I mean, yeah, if you're cooking from scratch,
I think
it takes more. Yeah, that's the thing. If you're buying stuff from a supermarket, like, of course that's going to be quicker because you don't have to. You don't have to do anything. But I think it's all about just prepping. And it sounds really boring, but just taking one bit of time on like a Sunday night or something, and making dinner, but making twice the amount of it so you can freeze the rest. Making a big thing of pesto, hummus, roast vegetables, all that kind of stuff, so that they're in the fridge. And then when it comes to making dinner, that makes a really big difference if you don't.
Yeah.
If you don't have to do that.
Hi, I'm Diana. I blog at Eating YouTube. My question was your first question. That's okay. We'll see.
Now you have a new one.
I'm also just interested to know. Obviously, when you've had a phenomenal success, what is the one thing that you would say has been the best bit about your success?
Oh God, that is so hard. I'm not sure, to be honest. It's amazing. Like I feel so lucky to have a platform to talk to so many people about something I care about so much. That in itself is amazing. Like it's so cool when you get messages from people and they're like, I did this and this has happened and I feel amazing.
Because you've almost got like a cult following with some people, haven't you? Which must be.
And it's incredible that it's very weird but incredible to get messages from strangers saying, you changed my life, and that's definitely hands down the best bit, because when I discovered this way of eating and the difference it can have on your life, and to be able to have shared that with someone and them to have had the same experience with it is just incredible. So yeah, I think that's definitely my favourite bit.
Hi, I'm Nadine. I blog at Juggle Mum,
Amazing.
and amazing. That's all. Thank you. My question is actually, I loved doing your creamy coconut porridge recipe coffee. That was delicious. But I have to say, I follow in the Slimming World plan, so I'm shifting weight.
Okay.
Now, my question's a little bit related to that. How do you cope with eating out? For example, if you go into a friend's birthday and you're not in control of choosing what restaurant you go to, because this is something I come up with my slimming. If I can't control where we're going to eat, sometimes I'm quite limited with what I can choose.
Yeah.
So in your circumstance, how do you cope with that?
Yeah, I used to find that really hard because also you like choice is fun, you know, it's so much nicer to be able to pick from different things, but I think I just realised that at a certain point you have to let go of it kind of thing, and I love food, but if one meal every now and again isn't the best meal I've ever had, it's about being there with your friends rather than exactly what you're eating, which seems weird when you're going to a restaurant, but I think once I accepted that, it was much easier rather than having high expectations kind of thing.
So you don't sort of refuse to go and say, oh, well, I can't go, it's not
No,
fun.
not at
You
all.
would go and you would just make the best choice that you could.
Exactly. I would never be like, yeah, not coming.
Do you find that your friends tend to make kind of your recipes if they're having you round, or
Yeah,
multiple
they do
occasions
a lot,
after?
exactly. They really do. And they've all got really into it. I mean, I think one of the things that for me was because I wanted to get people around me just trying it, I would often just make it, even if they were having something different. Be like, come on, just have a little bit. And over time, all my friends and family realised that they really liked how it tasted and they felt good, and so they've all incorporated bits of it into their life. That's not to say they do it 100% of the time, but
Fools.
I'd
be terrified if you came for dinner.
No.
Do you find that though? If
I cook for my friends 98% of the time.
Because they're probably a bit intimidated.
Bring your own food.
Yeah, well, also I just love the cooking and I love doing it, and so when they're cooking, I'm always like, so you just now do this, or can I just pour this?
What's your favourite ingredient?
My favourite ingredient? I don't know. I mean, I'm an avocado obsessive.
Oh, me
Like,
too.
They are my favourite food, so I do need those in my life.
I think that's probably a good place to start stop the favourite foods. We're gonna have a quick interview over here, but thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Of course.
Thank you. Before you get off, hello, just smile at the camera for me. Sit down, Karen.